to Foresights TV with me, Esma. In a major diplomatic flashpoint, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu launched a scathing attack on Western allies, the United Kingdom, Canada and France, accusing them of rewarding terrorism by opposing Israel's ongoing military campaign in Gaza. As the war between Israel and Hamas escalates under the newly launched military operation Gideon's Chariots, Netanyahu warned that international calls to cease operations and demands for a Palestinian state serves as a huge price for the October 7 attack. This reaction follows a joint declaration by the UK, Canada and France condemning Israel's actions and threatening sanctions unless humanitarian conditions improve and military activities are curtailed. Here's a special report from Foresights TV. Prime Minister Netanyahu's latest remarks reflect growing tensions between Israel and some of its long-standing allies. Taking to X or formerly Twitter, Netanyahu accused London, Ottawa and Paris of undermining Israel's right to self-defense. He stated that by demanding an end to the military campaign and pushing for Palestinian statehood in the wake of the brutal terrorist attack, these Western leaders are in effect offering a huge price for the atrocities committed to October 7, 2023. Netanyahu underscored that Israel's war aims remain unchanged. The total dismantling of Hamas military infrastructure, the release of all hostages, the exile of Hamas leaders, and the complete demilitarization of Gaza. Until these objectives are met, he emphasized Israel would not agree to do any ceasefire regardless of international pressure. Israel accepts President Trump's vision, Netanyahu reiterated, referencing the former US President's plan of Middle East peace that emphasized Israeli security and conditional Palestinian sovereignty. The Israeli Prime Minister's comments are notable not just for their bluntness, but for the breakdown they signify if diplomatic consensus between Israel and key Western allies. While the US has maintained a more supportive stance, the unified front of European powers increasingly fractures over humanitarian concerns and mounting civilian toll in Gaza. The joint declaration by the UK, Canada and France condemned Israel's military operations in Gaza and warns of consequences if the offensive continues. We will not stand by while the Netanyahu government pursues these egregious actions, the statement read, threatening sanctions and urging a halt to military escalation. Alongside these nations, others including Ireland, Norway, Luxembourg, Malta, Slovenia, Iceland and Spain have also voiced concern over the humanitarian impact of Israel's actions. Calls for an immediate ceasefire and humanitarian access have grown louder amid reports of worsening conditions in Gaza, where airstrikes and ground operations have resulted in deaths of hundreds of Palestinians, including women and children. Critics of Israel's approach argue that the ongoing military offensive is exacerbating a humanitarian catastrophe with food, water and medical supplies critically low. Civilian infrastructure has been heavily damaged and displacement is widespread. The opposition from the Western powers is rooted in fears that the offensive not only fails to distinguish between military and civilians but also deepens the cycle of violence and pushes any hopes for a political resolution further away. Israel has intensified its campaign in Gaza under the banner of Operation Gideon's Chariots, an expansive military initiative aimed at gaining full control of the Gaza Strip. In a video posted on Telegram, Netanyahu said, "The fighting is intense and we are making progress. We will take control of all the territory of the Strip. We will not give up." This operation has launched shortly after truce negotiations in Qatar broke down between Israeli and Hamas representatives. The collapse of talks led to a renewed ground offensive and surgical and aerial bombardments, deepening Gaza's humanitarian crisis. According to reports, hundreds of Palestinians were killed in just a few days, further straining relations with the international community. Netanyahu's announcement marks a strategic pivot in Israel's approach, moving from targeting Hamas strongholds to seeking complete territorial control, possibly indicating a long-term military presence in Gaza. This decision has alarmed international observers who warns that such actions risk triggering a broader regional escalation and further alienating international allies. Prime Minister Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's vehement criticism of the UK, France and Canada underscores the sharp geopolitical divides emerging over Israel's ongoing war in Gaza. While Israel insists that its military operations are necessary for national security and the complete dismantling of Hamas, an increasing number of Western nations are calling for restraint, emphasizing the humanitarian toll and the long-term political implications. The launch of Operation Gideon's Chariot marks a turning point, with Israel declaring its intent to take full control of Gaza, a move seen by many as a potential occupation and likely to inflame tensions in the region. As diplomatic fallout continues and global leaders push for accountability and de-escalation, Israel's path forward remains mired in controversy and conflict. The world watches with bated breath as the war stretches on, with its resolution far from sight and its consequences growing ever more profound. That's all for today. Thanks for watching 4 Sides TV with me, Isma.